Hello, everyone. Today is September 13th, 2018. I am going to continue reading with Genesis chapter 22. And it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee unto the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I shall tell thee of. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up, and went unto the place of the which God had told him. Then on the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes, and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto the young men, Abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship, and come again to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering, and laid it upon Isaac his son, and he took the fire in his hand, and a knife, and they went both of them yonder. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, My son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together, and they came to the place which God had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram, and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah-Jireh, as it is said to this day, In the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. And the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of heaven the 2nd time, and said, By myself have I sworn, saith the Lord, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned unto his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. And it came to pass after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she hath also borne children unto thy brother Nahor, Huz his firstborn, Buz his brother, Kemuel the father of Aram, and Chesed, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Gilaph, and Bethuel. And Bethuel begat Rebekah. These 8 Milcah did bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother, and his concubine, whose name was Reumah. She bare also Tebah, and Gaham, and Tahash, and Maachan. Okay, I hope you can hear me. That was Genesis chapter 22, and we have 10 minutes. So, what I want to talk about here is God made Abraham a promise. Abraham believed and had faith in the promise. But we see what activated and made solid that promise was this work. Abraham had faith. The Bible says Abraham was the father of faith. He believed God. But what happened? God had already made Abraham that promise, that I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven and as the sand which is upon the sea. Thy seed shall possess the gates of his enemy, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. Okay? God had been made that promise. But what brought it alive? When he obeyed God. When he obeyed. He had faith and he obeyed. Faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. The devils believe and tremble. But what works do they work? They work works of unrighteousness. They work works of wickedness. They're devils. He that sinneth is of the devil. Let's go to James. I'm going to try to move quickly and cover what I want to cover here. Okay. Okay, sorry. Verse 14. This is James chapter 2, verse 14. It says, what doth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he have faith and have not works? Can faith save him? Faith can't save you without works of righteousness. Unless you, like the thief on the cross, put your faith in Jesus Christ and then die immediately, you are going to live on and you're going to produce works. You're going to have a life. You're going to do things. If those things that you do are sin, then you work the works of your father, the devil. But if the things that you do are of righteousness and in obedience to the words of Christ, if you keep his commandments, then the works that you produce will be of righteousness. And by our works, we'll receive our reward. There's a gospel now, and it's a false gospel. It's doctrines of devils that they say that they make works as if works are a blasphemy. They make works sound as though they just make works sound like something evil. That is evil of you to try and be righteous. That is evil of you to try to be like your father. It's evil of you to try and walk in the steps of Christ, which is what he told us to do. The devil is a liar. When Jesus returns, he said he is going to give unto every man according as his works shall be. they twist certain scriptures where Paul was talking about the works of the law. No man attempting to keep the works that were prescribed in the law will be justified. He was saying we'll be justified by faith in Jesus Christ. Paul even clarifies, but James clarifies very clearly that faith without works of the gospel of Jesus, not coming against works of righteousness, not coming against it. The Bible's not coming against it. Paul wasn't coming against it. He was coming against people still trying to please God through the law. It's not the law of Moses that will save you. It is faith in Jesus Christ. And James makes it clear here that if you have no faith, if you have no work with your faith is dead and cannot save you. Verse 14, what doth it profit, my brethren, though a man say, I have faith, and have not works? Can faith save him? If a brother or sister be naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you say unto them, Depart, go in peace, be ye warned and filled, notwithstanding you give them not those things which are needful to the body, what doth it profit? Even so, if it hath not faith, even so faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone. Yea, a man say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works. You can't. And I will show thee my faith by my works. You will see what I believe in. You will see whether or not I believe the words of the gospel by the fact that I obey them. If I really believe that if I continue in sin, I'll die and go to hell, and you see me continue in sin, do I really believe that? Do I really believe it? He says, verse 17, even so, if faith hath not works, it is dead, being alone. Verse 19, thou believest that there is one God. Thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble. But wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead? Was not Abraham our father justified by works when he offered Isaac his son upon the altar? I wanted to see how I was doing on time. Was not Abraham our father justified by works when he had offered Isaac upon the altar? When did God say in chapter 22 of Genesis, verse 16, and said, by myself have I sworn, saith the Lord, for because thou hast done this thing, he was justified by works. Faith led him to the work. But the Bible says here, he was justified by work. And he said, because you have done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, that in blessing I will bless thee. The promise came. And the power came to the promise when Abraham obeyed. Faith without works is dead. Don't let anybody come against works. Don't let anybody twist the words of Paul. Paul's not condemning you working out your salvation. He's not condemning that. We must have works of righteousness. You're going to be judged by your works. The devil is a liar.